visit. And today we will have the session, direct session. As we mentioned, it will be only a small session for review. It will be 2 hours, start from 7:30 till 9:30 direct. Then now it's your floor. You can choose whatever you want, which you want to start with.
Hello, sir. Prem here. So I just sent few of my questions actually in the WhatsApp.
If you will be able to share it with us, it will be better right now.
Yeah, sure. I think I will have to then WhatsApp web. Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah, I think okay, I can share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So I had some 5 topics actually. I think, sir, there is a learning objective.
Right. Just leave it as is, as we will speak about them very quickly. For the last point, this 25 risk, it will take a long time. It needs to require a long time. This it will not it will not be enough for it. But I will send you a document which it will cover the 25 risk. Of course, not all the details which I will send it will be required, because I send you full details. These full details, it's not required to know, but it will be nice to just read it. Then I will send you this document. This for point number 5. For jump box and jump server, gentlemen, there is no difference between both of them. It is very simple like that. The software, it is, by the end of the day, it is a software. It's an application. You can install it on a server. When you have your own server, it's a PC or VM or a host or whatever. Then you will install this on the machine. And this, it will be as a jump server because it is installed on a server. Or it be jump box. What is a jump box? When you will buy from the vendor the product, he will not provide you the software only. No, he will install it on a server, but he may make some hardening for the operating systems. As you remember, when I told you we have a lot of steps for hardening operating systems, then he will hardening the operating systems, he will remove the unnecessary services and so on, all these steps, and he'll make it ready for you. Then when you will buy it from him, it is not a software, it's a box, it's appliance. But this appliance, of course, it has a software, which is the jump software, which it will be utilized for accessing the application. Then by the end of the day, jump server or jump box, it is the same concept.
Okay.
IAST versus RASB. IAST, this just remind me, RASB, this is the real-time application security test, right?
Yes, yes.
What just remind me, what is the IAST? I think this is the
interactive active system test or something.
interactive.
Yeah, 1 second. I'll just stop 1 minute. Yeah, IAST is yeah, interactive application security testing.
Okay.
Because when I read it, sir, actually, and RASP is runtime application self-protection.
Fine. Let's take it one by one. The first one for the real-time application testing. What is the real-time application testing? As I mentioned to you, gentlemen, there are some applications which is developed using a method application method which it is able to make some changes in its coding. As the virus, for example, and one of the good examples, it is a virus. Sometimes you may have a virus, and we discovered its signature when we define this signature in the software for antivirus or anti-malware. Some situation, the virus, it is able to change the code itself when it will be little changes in the code. But of course, these little changes or the behavior of the virus, it will change the signature. Then when you will compare the new signature with the predefined or the previous defined signature, it will be different. When the malware, it will not be able to detect. Then, as a summary, these real-time applications are able to change their behavior. Usually, we are using this for high-end application. When we are saying, okay, when this high-end application, if it's attacked, then it will be able to protect itself by taking some actions. Of course, these actions depend upon the programming, upon the data flow, and all this stuff. Then, real time, we are telling you, you have the application, it's up and running. Okay, then you try to attack it and monitor what will happen, if it will be able to change its behavior or not. If it will be able to change its behavior to protect itself against this attack, which you try against the application, if it was able to protect itself, then that's fine. This means that the test is passed and the application is developed correctly. If it's not, and there are some bugs, then you have to review the coding again and correct these problems or whatever, bugs or whatever. Okay? For the yes.
No, sir, I don't have any question.
Yeah. Yeah, what is the question?
No, I don't have any question. I'm just
Okay.
listening. Okay.
Okay. For the other method, the IAST, which is Interactive Application Security Testing. What is the IAST? IAST, it is monitoring of application while it is running. When it is running as in a production, the application it's running, all the processes are processing, we are interacting together, and at the same time, you are continually scanning for any security vulnerabilities. When this security vulnerability, what is the difference between IAST and vulnerability assessment? In vulnerability assessment, the application may be on a test environment or whatever. But in the IAST, the application is production. It is running. All the applications are running with their full load, and processes are interacting with each others, and everything it's going as normal. And on the same time, you are continually scanning for any security vulnerability. Okay, this is the IAST. If we will go back with your list, you have 543 semi-structured data. Semi-structured data, okay, we have two different types of data, structured and non-structured. Structured database, let's say database. And this database, it have tables, we have records, and so on. In the unstructured, these are the data which is independent on each other, and usually you will hear this unstructured data when you are speaking about the object storage. Usually, you will hear it when we say object storage. Data, it will be stored as object storage. What does it mean? As we are using with the cloud, the unstructured data, we are not independent, files are not related to each other. You may have a book, you may have a video, you may have MP3, you may have a file, you may have whatever, PDF file, Word file, whatever. When these are separated islands, we are call it objects. Usually we call it objects. When this object storage, where all the data are stored in the object storage. And this, it is very fast. Why? Because it does not depend in accessing this data on a FAT or on a filing system as in the volume storage. It depends upon a code, something like a number or a code or whatever, where you can have a client or you have a web browser where you will be able to catch this information very quickly and very fast. The important point here, which I want to remind you, keep in your mind, this is very important, that when we are speaking about the object storage, they mentioned here the object storage because we want you to know that cloud service provider, we are using the object storage in storing the images, servers images. And this is very important. I remember this, it was one of my questions in the exam. They be asking about the server, the images where it is stored, and he gave me a lot of options. One of them, it was object storage. Of course, object storage. Why? Because it is very fast. It is very fast. Semi-structure, it is something in between. It will be some data which is structured as in a database, besides some other data which is not related to the other. Then the semi-structure, it will be mix and match between both of them. Mix and match between both of them. This is the semi-structured data.
Okay, sir.
Learning objective, keys, secrets, and certificates management. Yes, I think this is an important topic. And this is one of the topic which is added new. Keys, secrets, and certificates management. I think we have to explain about the certificates, secrets, and keys. Okay, يعني in general, it will be certificates. Okay, I will share my iPad, then I will be able to explain it to you. Okay. Look, gentlemen, here. What is certificate? Or let's speak first about the keys and the history, not the history, the theory behind the certificates. When you will have encryption, we mentioned that the encryption depends upon two main components. Algorithm and key. We have two different types of keys. Shared key, or in sometimes called secret key. P, public, private key. This one, we call it symmetric encryption. This one, asymmetric encryption. What is this? What do we mean here? When we are saying symmetric encryption, this means that, gentlemen, in the encryption, it is using only one key. It's called shared key or secret key or secret key. Okay? Then data can be encrypted or decrypted by the same key. Then this means that if we have here sender and we have here receiver, and the sender he want to send the data, then he will get the data which he want to send with the shared key, and this is the algorithm, and it will give him an output. This output, we call it cipher text, and he will send this cipher text to the receiver. Receiver, he will take the receiver algorithm, he will take the cipher text, he will use the shared key, and he will process it to get the data, or which we call plain text. This is a very simple demonstration for the symmetric key and secret key or shared key. When the shared key or secret key, it will be single key. It will be a single key. This single key, it will be shared with the sender and the receiver. We found that there are some challenges using this method, the symmetric encryption. What are these challenges? Challenge number one, the difficult in scalability. What do you mean? Suppose that we have all these parties want to speak together. And if you want all these parties to speak together and they need a shared key between each other, then all this communication, then this means that just take it from point of view of this user. How many keys it will be required? How many keys it will be required? Now, if we have this user, he is here 1, and he is communicate with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then I need 1 key for 2 and 1 key here, 1, 1, 1. Then the number of keys, by increasing the number of the users who are you are communicating with, the number of the keys, it will be increased. Let me give you a practical example to understand. Suppose that I am working in IT certificates, and I want to initiate a secure communication between me and my customers. Then this means that in each training course, I may have 5 or 6 trainees. Then within a year, if I'm arranging, let's say 3 or 4 courses, then by the end of the year, I may have about 20 users. And if I'm working since 2020, then this means that now I may have 100 users or whatever. This means that every time my keys for users, it will be very huge, and it will not be possible to manage it. No way. How can I manage a case for 100 or 200 or 300 or 400? Then this means that the keys for managing keys, it will be very difficult in scalability. As my customers, we are increasing, the number of keys increased, and the keys management, it will be very difficult. This difficult, number one. Number two, not easy to share. This key, it is very critical. Anyone he will have this key, he will be able to decrypt the data. When this data, this key must be very sensitive, and it must be kept in a secure place. Suppose that I want to share the key with my user. Now I want to send Prem some emails or whatever, any encrypted data. Then we have to share the key. I have to send him the key. Like, how can I send him the key? By email? It is not secure. Email can be captured. If the email is captured, then I'm really sorry. It will not be secure. So can I send it by WhatsApp? Again, it's not secure. How can I send it? Then how can I send it? When this, it will be very difficult. When I have to put it on a flash or hard disk or whatever and deliver it to him hand by hand. But what will happen if he is reside in the States and I'm in Saudi Arabia? How can I deliver it to him? I have to take the chance, the risk. I don't have any other option. When this means that it is not easy to share. And even, gentlemen, if you can see when you are having any bank accounts and we are sharing the username and password or whatever, we'll try to do it as separation of something like separation of duties. Of course, it is not the same concept, but something like that, where we are sending to you the email by the user account by the user account by email and the password by WhatsApp. When this means that the one, if there is someone he is monitoring the one of the channels, then he will not be able to get 100% of the information. It will be only 50% of the information. Then, as we can see, this method, it is very difficult in scalability. It's not easy to share the keys and so on. Then, why do we use it if we have all these problems? Why do we use it? Because it is very fast in encryption and decryption data. It is very fast in encryption and decryption data. We have another method which it is called the asymmetric. Asymmetric, it came to try to solve the problems of the symmetric method. In asymmetric, we are saying, okay, gentlemen, we will use here what we call public and private keys. Public and private keys. How it's working? As a general rule, whatever any data, it will be encrypted by one key, it will be decrypted by the other key. As a general rule, any data, it will be encrypted by one key, the data, it will be decrypted by the other key. Then if you encrypt it by public, it will be decrypted by private. If you encrypted by private, it will be decrypted by public. Then, if you have the sender here, and he has the data, he use the public key of the receiver, and you will know why this later after I explain. Don't ask why public key of receiver, I will tell you later. Then he will have ciphertext. This ciphertext, it will go to the receiver. He will use his private key. He will be able to get the data. This is the concept. Then, as you can see here, public and private, and both of them for the receiver. Why? We will explain this within few minutes. Okay, but before going further, just tell me more about the private and the public keys, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of private and public keys. The private and public keys, gentlemen, whatever any device want to encrypt, to sign certificates, to go through the all the encryption, signing, and all processes, it will generate something called public and private keys. These public and private keys, it's clear from the name. One key, it will be public, and one key, it will be private. Then suppose that I want to send a data for all my trainees, as in same example. We mentioned here, if I want to send the data here for all my employees, it will be very difficult because all these users, I will not be able to send. Then here what I will do, I will create a private and public key for myself. I will create a public and a private key for myself. Right. And everyone here, he will have a private and a public key. Everyone, he will create a private and public key for himself. As we mentioned, private key, this is a private key, and you must keep this key private in secure place. No one have access for it except yourself. Period. When you have to protect one single key, which is your private key. Okay, great. What about the public key? I don't care. It's a public. It's over internet. When I can send it by email, I can send it by WhatsApp, I can put it on the box.com and share it. When Mahmoud and Anchor and Brem and Rajesh and everyone, we can log in and take this key from the internet because it's public. I don't care about it. It is public. Anyone he can access it. Anyone he can download it and use it. I don't care at all. Okay, that's fine. Then this means that what will be the benefit here? Is this approach solve the disadvantages of the symmetric method? Let's see. Difficult in scalability. Here, scalability is very easy. Why? Because even, gentlemen, if you have multiple keys, there is no need to keep all these keys in some place. It's public. When today I want to send to Prem, and unfortunately I forgot his key to encrypt data to send it to him, then I can log into internet and search for it and download it, or I can send him a message on WhatsApp or email, please send me your public key, or whatever the way. When it's very easy to get the key, do the encryption, send the message to him. Thank you very much, we can do it. Then this means that scalability is very easy. As increase the number of the messages, I mean the number of the parties, it will not make any difference because these keys are not secure. There is no need to protect them and keep them in a secret place and try to manage it and understand which key is for whom and all this stuff, because in the public key, it is very easy to get this public key from any place, or even from the same participant, where he can send the email or the keys for you by email, by WhatsApp, by box.com, whatever, just to mention. Okay, then yeah, this one, okay, not easy to share. Now, I think it is very easy to share. It is very easy to share. Then, why this one? It is not the dominant method for encryption, because it is very slow in encrypting and decrypting data. Well, this means that the first one, it is the asymmetric. It is very fast, but it is not easy. It's not scalable. It's not easy to share the keys and all stuff. The asymmetric, it is easy to scalable, easy to share the public keys and all this stuff, but again, it is very slow. Then, what shall we do? What we can do? Usually, gentlemen, we are using the two together, the two steps together, the two methods together for encryption. In encryption, we will have two phases, phase number 1 and phase number 2. In phase number 1, for authentication and create secure tunnel between entities, we will use the asymmetric. For data encryption and decryption, we will use the symmetric. What is the, or what are the benefits of this approach? In this approach, gentlemen, as you can see that the first phase, this phase 1 and phase 2, in first phase, if you want to create a tunnel, you are using public and private keys. You are using the public and private keys. Then you can create a session and open the session using the public keys and all this stuff between two entities, and there will be a secure tunnel between two entities or two security peers. But when we'll start to, and this we agree that it is slow. This is slow, but I don't care if it's slow, because the process, it will not take too much. The number of packets which it will be sent, it will be very minimal. Just to agree about a proposal for the encryption, how the encryption, what will be the protocol of the encryption, what is the size of the key, what is the authentication method, what is the hashing method, and all this information. This will be a small number of packets, and each packet in Ethernet, it is almost 1,500 bytes. But when we'll reach to the point of the encryption of the data, which it will be huge number of the bytes, we will use the symmetric algorithm, because this, it is considered fast. But again, what we will do with the key, we mentioned here in this model, we need something called shared key or the secret key. But you mentioned here we are using asymmetric. He said, no. In asymmetric, it will be only in phase number 1 to open the session between the two, communication tunnel between the two entities. But when we will come to encryption and decryption, we will have the shared key. But again, we will go to the same problem. Keys, scalability, share. No, we will not use this. Then what we will use? We will use something called Davy-Hellman. Davy-Hellman. We will use Davy-Hellman method. What is Davy-Hellman method? Davy-Hellman method, gentlemen, this is a very nice way. Suppose that I want to, in phase number 1, I already create a communication tunnel here. It is already there. I will not use any pre-configured shared keys. I will not use pre-configured shared key. Then what I will use? I will use something. I will create the key for this session by using the algorithm which is called Diffie-Hellman. Each machine, it will use prime number, pair of prime number, and by some mathematical operations, these prime numbers with the public and the private keys, these prime numbers and these public and private keys, they will be able to create the shared key. We will be able to create the same shared key, both of them. Although there will be no data exchange between them, or the data exchange, it will be minimal, but by the end of this process, they will be able to create the shared key. When both of them, they have the same shared key. In this case, we call it secret key. We will call it secret key. we have the same secret key. When this means that we will be able to use phase number 2 for the data encryption, decryption using the symmetric, because it is the fastest method in the encryption. Then in this case, when they are using the Diffie-Hellman algorithm, they will be able to develop or to create the secret key and to make the encryption of the data, encryption, decryption of the data. And of course, in this way, we utilized the benefits of the fast and scalable technology. This method, when we share secrets and all this stuff, then you have to think about two things. Secret keys, it may be the shared key, which I told you that all of us must have this key for the encryption. Whatever any data, it will be encrypted with this key, it will be decrypted. When this key, it can be with me and with Brem, or with me and anyone else. Or in some situation, when you will tell you that there is algorithm and all this stuff, then I understand with secret key, it will be created by Diffie-Hellman. Both of them, it will be okay. Okay, this the concept. The last point, which I want to cover it here, then you can understand what is the meaning of the digital certificate. Now, gentlemen, we agreed that we will use the public and the private key. And let's make life easy. You have Osama, you have Brem, you have Mahmoud, and you have Anko. Here I have public and private for me. Public and private, public and private, public and private. Of course, every one of them, it is different from the other, because it depends upon the user. Then this U, this P, this M, this A. Okay, then now I want to send encrypted data for all of you. Then Osama send a message or email to all of you to send him the public keys. And he received Bob P, Bob M, Bob A. Unfortunately, these emails, it was reconnaissance. There was someone who reconnaissance on the email, and he was able to capture the email. Then let's say that this is the hacker. The hacker, he have private and public key as well for H. Then instead of send me Bob M for Prem, he sent me Bob H for Prem. Then the public keys which I received the real public keys for Mahmoud, and the real public keys for Anchor. But for Prem, I received the public H as it is for Prem. And as we mentioned that this is public, I don't know any information about it and so on. Then this means that whatever any message, I will encrypt it and send it to Prem. And if the hacker has access to my traffic, he will be able to see all the encrypted data. Why? Because I am encrypting this by the public key of the hacker. If the data is encrypted with the public key of the hacker, then the only key which it will be able to decrypt it is the private key of the hacker. What is the solution here? Okay, what is the solution here? Here it will come to the concept of the CE, Certificate Authority. What is certificate authority? Certificate authority, gentlemen, this is a trusted third party. Trusted third party. I want to create public and private key for myself. I will send it to this CA and I tell them, please, I want you to give me a certificate to say that this is for Osama. It will tell me, okay, you have to authenticate yourself. Then, if you are a user, then we will ask you for a passport copy, we will ask you for your address, for whatever any information we will ask you to make sure that you are really Osama. And we will give you something called a digital certificate. What is actually the digital certificate? Gentlemen, digital certificate, very easy. It is my public key of Osama, which usually I want to give it to someone else when I will be able to share encrypted data with him. But this certificate, it will be signed by the CA. It will be signed by the CA. It is a proof that this certificate, it's really for Osama. You know, gentlemen, when you want to access any restricted area, when they will tell you, give me your driving license, for example. When you will you give him your driving license, he will allow you to go inside. Why the driving license, or why the passport, or why the whatever the identity card? Because these documents are issued from a trusted authority. Then this digital, or I mean the driving license, it is, or the identity card, it is also it is issued by police department or passport office or whatever. And of course, it will not be issued until they really make sure that you are the one who claim you are. When they trust this authority, I trust the passport office, I trust the police stations. When whatever any documents, it will be signed by these authorities, it will be trusted. The same with the digital certificate. When I have this digital certificate and it is signed from the certificate authority as Baltimore, as Microsoft, whatever, any third party which is trusted site, then I make sure that yes, this is right. This digital certificate, it's for really Osama. Then the public key, which it is there, it is really for Osama. It is really for Osama. This is the concept of the digital certificate. And these are the points which you ask about, Brim. Let me open the WhatsApp. If you send the message on the WhatsApp, then I can be able to access it. You ask for the learning objective. This keys, we explained the keys. Secrets, we explained the secrets. Keys, this means the public key, private key, shared key. Secrets, when we say secrets, then it means the shared key or the secret key, which is created by the Devi Hellman, as we highlight in this slide. Certificates management, these are the certificates. And who will do the certificate management here, gentlemen? The entity which it will do the certificate management, it is the certificate authority. It is the certificate authority. This one. They will have this one. There is something CA and there is something called RA. This it will be a root authority. It will be responsible for authenticate the user, and this it will be able to issue the certificate, and both of them, they will be able to manage the digital certificates for all the users which we are a member of their infrastructure. I think these are the points which you mentioned. I think point one, rest of points. Also, one more topic, REST versus SOAP.
Yes, sir. Wow. Yes, sir.
Okay. REST versus SOAP, gentlemen, this it's very simple, and we mentioned that we have some specific points which I want you to know. As we mentioned, they will not ask you sophisticated questions. You are not a developer. when it is not you will not be asked a sophisticated question, but it is very important to understand what the differences between the two interfaces. First of all, SOAP and REST, they are types of APIs. We are types of APIs. The REST, it is representative state transfer, and SOAP, it is the simple object access protocol. The REST, it uses the HTTP protocol. And the data format, this it's a protocol HTTP. Data format, JSON and XML. When the protocol, it is the methodology which it will be used to speak between different entities. Data format, how the data it will be shaped in the connection. Yani, for example, I will say, okay, first field, it will be temperature. Second field, it will be degree centigrade, or it will be Fahrenheit. The third one, it will be so and so. Then it will define how the data format, when you will be able to understand the data. Also, this number one, this number two. Number three, we mentioned that there is a very important point. You have to know it very well, that this it support caching, and this it will improve the performance. It will cache the data, and this, of course, caching, it will increase the performance. Right. What about the SOAP? SOAP, it will utilize HTTP and FTP, not HTTP only as in REST, but HTTP and FTP. And the data format, it will be XML only. Here we have XML and JSON. And it does not support caching. When it has performance issues. These are the main differences between the REST and SOAP.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, in the exam on SOAP and REST, what type of questions they will ask? Straight questions only, or like they will?
But take care. And sometimes it is considered straight, but it is tricky. What do I mean? It will give you, for example, a scenario for something related to performance issues.
Okay.
Then it will tell you have a screen scenario for performance. Then, of course, when you speak about performance, then I have to keep in my mind SOAP, it's out of my scope. I have to speak about REST. Or it can give you another issue, which, for example, a scenario that we have an application, it utilizes FTP, and this application is very important. I will not be able to drop it, so and so. Then this means that if it's FTP, then REST, it will not work. FTP is supported only by SOAP. I have to understand that the JSON and XML. Yani, don't expect that he will give you a question that it will ask you which protocol REST support. Although it can happen. By the way, it can happen. Okay. Especially as you mentioned, Prem, I made some search and I found that the exam it is adaptive.
No, have they introduced adaptive for CCSP? I think it was for CISSP adaptive. They have introduced CCSP also adaptive.
CCSB, yes, it's adaptive.
So which means the exam can end before 150 questions? Yes,
it can be. 1 minute, I want to check it again because I remember I reviewed this, but I'm not sure if this it was in the I will tell you exactly how it's working. Although it is, I will not say easy, but
Sir, I would just like to show you something.
okay.
I got a mail from ISC Square. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Our exam has team has informed that beginning 1st August, CCSP will contain 50 pre-test unscored items, which will increase the number of time items the candidates will need to answer from 125 to 150. But it does not tell about adaptive. I received this mail on February 6th.
Yeah, I remember I read it over the internet.
Okay.
1 minute, I am searching for the you mentioned this for me.
No, I just mentioned, sir. I think when you were telling in the class, it is 125 questions. I said it is increased to 125 to 150. 50 is beta questions. So so for every third question, sir, one question is a beta question.
Yeah, you remember when you told me that you are not able to mark questions.
Yeah. Yes. I think you asked, you
If
told
you
us,
are
I
not
think in the
able to
session
mark
that
a question, when
yes,
this
you cannot, yes, you cannot go back.
yes, when this it's adaptive. If you are not able to go back, then this is adaptive.
No, I think okay, sir. I think please check because I think the way I understood adaptive is basically the exam may get it, the algorithm will be checking your progress, and if it is too bad, it will stop. If it is too good, it will exactly stop the exam, and then they'll say it will passed. But it
Not,
will, but it,
not like that. In our IT exams, it's not like that. It has a different concept. Let me search first because I want to get from ISC Square. Here you are. I will share my desktop.
Sure.
Because the test is adaptive, which means that if you successfully answer sufficient questions within a domain to demonstrate your competence in that area, your computer interface will cease presenting you with the question in that domain and length of the test varies. When this means that, yes, the exam is adaptive. But what do we mean by adaptive here, gentlemen? The adaptive here is something which it will be nice and bad. What do we mean? Let me explain it to you as a graph. As a graph. You have here the question. This it will be difficulty. Sorry, number of questions. And here it will be difficulty. When it will restart with you, it will start with very simple question. Suppose that you are a good person and you have a good knowledge. Then it will move like that till it will end. It will the question, it will be here very easy. Then second question, this first question. Second question, it will little bit difficult. 3, 4, 5, and so on. Type. What will happen if in question number 2 or 3 you answer incorrectly? Then this means that it is moving like that, but it will go down again for question number 4. Then it will start to increase. Type. What will happen if you answered multiple questions wrong? We know if you answer multiple questions right, when this means that you will not be asked in this domain. خلاص, we will consider you have enough information. But what will happen if you answered incorrectly multiple questions? Then this means that, of course, if you will answer from here, then it will give you another question, very simple, and we can terminate the exam. Yeah. But suppose that it moved for the questions like that. When you start to decrease till you reach the zero. When you reach the zero here, they will terminate the exam for you. They will terminate the exam for you. I had the same concept with novel exams. I don't know if you are aware about it. We had a network operating system. It was called Network 3.11, 3.12, and 4. We had this concept in the exams. Usually these exams, it's not so long. يعني if you are it only if you feel that it will be so long, this means that your level is hesitating and he is not able to judge it. You are not sober when you are closing all the questions, and you are not so bad you are passing some wrong questions. You are increasing when decrease, when increase, when decrease. You will playing this game until you will be able to judge your level. This, which we call it adaptive. And frankly speaking, I don't like these exams because it will not give you a chance to relax yourself. Although the questions, it will not make difference, gentlemen. It will be the same questions, but as I told you, the other questions, I may have 120 question or 150 question, whatever. Where I will start, I'm quite sure that the first 10 questions, I will not be able to answer it, and I will feel that I will fail. Why? Because you are under stress. But when you will start to go in the exam environment and forget everything around you, you will find that you are improved little step by step, and there are some questions which you answered, and you start to gain some trust in yourself until you finish the exam, and you will find that you even mark 50% of the questions. But when you will come back again to them, you are not in stress as the moment which you start the exam in. Your stress, it will be minimum. But unfortunately, with the adaptive, no, you are under stress the whole time. You are under stress the whole time, and this is one of the main problems. When I had my exams, it was normal questions. It was normal questions. It was not adaptive. And this is the reason why I was really surprised when Prem, he mentioned this. But as I checked now, the ISC square, they mentioned that it is adaptive.
So
But
two things which I actually realized, that one is conceptual knowledge, and 50% is about to remain calm, complete calm. Because what happens, you tend to read the question much better. If you are stressed, I think it goes.
yes, yes, you are right. Especially ISC square, we are playing with the words, and we are playing with the as I give you the example now for rest and soap. When we need some specific point. If you need this point, you will answer this question correctly. Performance, this means that we are speaking about rest. FTP, we are speaking about soap. If you are speaking about XML and JSON, when we are speaking about rest, he will not get the question in a very simple language or in a very even technical language. He will give it in some sort of scenario, because he is saying that you have 5 years experience, when this means that you passed by these scenarios. And this is why you will feel that the questions are difficult. They are not difficult. For example, let me show you something. I think I shared my screen. Okay. The question which you sent to me, or I don't know who sent it to me, I think it was Prem.
Yes.
I am trying to open the This question, it seems that it is difficult. Although, gentlemen, it is very, 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 very easy. And I will tell you why. This is a question which I said, this is the one. Gentlemen, this question, just read it.
In which control should a cloud service provider, upon request, inform customers of compliance, impact, and risk, especially if customer data is used as part of the services?
Okay. This is a very simple question, gentlemen. Very simple question. Why? Because there is nothing called service provider control. There is nothing called impact and risk control. There is nothing called data inventory control. Controls are classified. I don't know, we mentioned this before or not. I think we mentioned it in the ISO course. We have 4 types of controls, or maybe 3 types of controls. What are they? These controls are we have administration controls, we have management controls, and in sometimes both of them are the same. We have physical controls, we have technical controls, and we have compliance controls. In ISO, we have organizational controls. We have physical controls. We have people controls. We have technical controls. These are the classification of controls based on my information. I'm not saying that these are the only one, but based on my information, these are the controls which I know them. This is the ISO, and this is the general one. You will find organization controls, it is administration and management. Then both of them are the same. For the physical control, it is same. Physical controls. We don't have any difference. Here, physical control and there, physical control. Both of them are the same. Then physical control and physical control. People control, this, it will be a part of the administration control. It will be a part of the administration control. Technical controls, it is technical controls, and we have the compliance controls. Then if you go back to the question, you have only one type of controls which is valid, which is a compliance control. The others are we are not type. We don't have something called such this definition of control. Then this is a very simple question, but he is trying to make life very difficult. He will give you some words in the question, and he will mention these words again in the answer. Then you will say, we are the same. I don't care even if they are the same, but by the end of the day, I know that the classification of the controls, here we are 5, here we are 4. That's it. Take it or leave it. I don't have any other controls.
Okay.
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 What else you want to work it together today? Do you have any questions, Mahmoud? Do you have
That's it, sir, from my side.
Did you answer
Yes.
the questions which I told you have to answer it? It is 111 question. You don't have any clarifications about these questions? All the questions are easy?
No, sadly, no. I haven't started in them yet.
You have your own schedule, you mean?
So Yeah. I was busy because we have some project in our work, and I was busy in the last week, and I actually didn't do it. So
Okay.
I only have one thing that I was studying, which is tokenization.
Hmm.
Can you please give me a full clarification about that part? Because I'm struggling with it.
Tokenization, this is the method which it is used to change the critical data to be used in test environment or development environment. It means that you want to have the same data as production in test and in development. But of course, I will not be able to use the real data, because if you will use the real data, then this means that it will be subject for leakage, and it can represent a problem. Then I will make changes on the data with the same format, exactly the same as the production one. Then if it's text, I will change it to something text. If it's numbers, I will change it into numbers. If it's special characters, I will change it to special characters. Whatever it is, I will change it to the same form as whatever it is. Then this means that the actual data, it will be changed, but it keeps the same type of the data, and it can be retrieved back. In tokenization, it can be retrieved back. There is a methodology where the data, it can be retrieved back to the original data. This is something different from the other methodologies. Other methodologies, we are not able to return. If they are changed for randomizing or whatever, then we will not be able to return. But tokenization, we have algorithm, or we have mechanic specific methodology where we can replace this data, and this data, it can be changed or returned back into the original data.
Okay, in all the encryption method, is tokenization is the one we use in test environment?
Sorry?
In all the encryption method, is tokenization the one we used in
What
test
is the
environment?
relation between encryption methods and tokenization? There is no relation between both of them. Tokenization, it's not encryption at all. This it's called data hiding, whatever. يعني the names. This it's we have a lot of naming here. But it's not called as you mentioned, that it is what we can say encryption method. It's not encryption method. This it's considered as protecting data. It is called as protecting the data, change the data, and so on.
Okay, because I think it's mentioned in all in one in the key management. So when I was studying,
Key management. Let me search for key management. Key management.
just a second after key management, there is tokenization.
We
But
have
yeah,
key management. You have tokenization. You have data loss prevention. Okay.
we have encryption implementation. After it, there is hashing and key management and tokenization.
But
So
this
they
is
are not part.
where it is mentioned here that it's encryption technology.
No, sorry. I mean, it's mentioned as 1 minute. Where is it? It's mentioned as encryption implementation. It's not part of encryption implement. Maybe I misread it or something.
لا. It is not. It is not encryption at all. It is not encryption. يعني they will change the type of the data, not encrypt the data. Encrypt the data, this it can be IPsec or whatever. Like in tokenization, this is protecting sensitive data for by generating a map for the data where it can be actual return to its original value, but it's not encryption. I will not be say encryption. It is not encryption. encryption, it can be symmetric, asymmetric, and so on. These are totally different concepts.
Okay.
Okay. What else?
For me, I haven't finished the question. Just I need some time with it. I really don't have any other questions.
Okay, Ankur, do you have any questions? Okay, I think Ankur may not be with us. Anyway, gentlemen, as we agreed, please feel free to send me whatever any clarifications. As we used before, when you are sending any questions, and if I find that the answers are correct, which you are sharing together, then I will not comment. But when I feel that there are some points as very important, the point which Prem and I think Subhi you were discussing about the privacy, and privacy, it will be in which country. This usually conflicting question. Number one, you have to apply the rules and privacy laws for the country where the data is stored. Yes, we agree. But again, we have another factor, which is the type of the data. If the type of the data, it has European citizen privacy, then GDPR. If it's have health information for American, then it is HIPAA. If you have a SOX information, then it will be United States, and so on. Then take care. It is not only single factor. It depends upon the location of the data, nature of the data, and type of the data which you are using. Then this is very important. This, it will make a conflict. Any other questions? When you are for the exam?
I'm going, inshallah, after Eid, after Ramadan, and maybe at the end of
Yeah, almost after 2 months.
yeah, after inshallah, yeah. I
Okay.
will.
What about you,
Yeah.
Prem?
In April.
After 1 month. Okay, that's good. Okay. For myself, I think I am sure that both of you will be able to pass from the first time with the same level of information. I have only 3 advices. Advice number 1, please stick to your schedule. Question number 2, point number 2, please don't disturb yourselves by a lot of exam samples. This, it will distract you, it will not help you. Concern on a sample exam, good example, sample exam, understand why did he answer these questions, and this will be more than enough. Third point, don't delay the exam for long time, because now the information is fresh and clear in your mind. If you will delay it, then this means that I am afraid that you will be in some situation. For myself, I found that I'm starting from scratch. Yani I have to bring the book and read it again, because sometimes as happen, I have a project, or I am working outside the kingdom for some projects, when I am not able to study or whatever, when some projects, it may take 1 month or 2 months. Then when I come back and try to continue, I find that I'm not able to continue. Information, I forgot the information, I forgot the tricks, I forget everything. Then I have to start from scratch. Then take care, because I am quite sure that your work, your life, and all these things, it can delay the exam week after week. But if you define the schedule and keep some buffer, make the exam reservation. Put yourself in front of the river. Then there is no way. You have to jump in the water, or you have to fight the armies behind you. I don't have any other option. Usually, if I want to make sure that I will attend the exam, I will make the schedule as I will I show it to you first day, and it will say after 1 month. Then I will say, okay, I will give myself 1 week or 2 weeks as a buffer, because I may have a project, I may fade up, and I want to spend 1 or 2 days without studying or whatever. Then I will make the exam reservation after 1.5 months. It's done. Khalas, it's over. I paid the money, I make the reservation, I have a fixed date. I don't have any other option. This, it will be the best choice to put yourself in the exam. I want you to have self-trust, gentlemen. You have really good backgrounds for the CCSP. You have a good background. Please don't hear from the others. So when I applied for the exam, and I mentioned to some of my colleagues that I will have the CCSP, it is very difficult. No one can pass. I know people, we failed 3 times and 7 times and 10 times, and it is and they give me very negative attitude. But because I am not caring about all these things, then I act that I am deaf and I cannot hear anything. And when I entered the exam, I said, what will happen? I will fail? Like, okay, I will study again. I will buy another sample of exams. I will find something to do. While I'm sitting in the exam, I said, I feel that the exam, it is very easy. I have 1 of 2 options, and I don't have the third one. The exam is very easy and I will achieve very high score, or the exam is tricky and I will achieve a very bad score. Nothing less, nothing more. Not. And after I finished the exam, I found that I had boss. At that time, they said boss, and the exam, it was easy for me, and I did not face any problem. The exam materials, it was very simple, and exactly the same from the papers. I may have 1 or 2 questions which I did not hear about them. When I make try and error, I try to understand the question. One of the question I remember, it was speaking about some technology which I did not hear about it. When I dropped it, I make ABCD and I pressed one of the answers. I have probability 25% that it will be the right answer or not. And I found that I bought the exam. Then please, gentlemen, don't hear from the others. Not all of us in the same quality or the same knowledge. You will find some of the others, they will give you a very bad attitude. They will give you a negative attitude because we are not qualified for the exam. Not all the people qualified for the ISC square exams. Not all of them. Then please don't hear from the others. Don't hear from the others. If they will give you some samples of the questions, or if it will give you some topics, thank you very much. We really appreciate. But if you will give you a negative energy, thank you very much. We don't want to hear it, and this, it will not make any difference with us. You prepared, you studied the exams, and I'm quite sure that you will be able to pass. Okay?
Sir, I completely agree with you, because I think the first attempt I failed was mainly because I was overwhelmed with so many things. Now I think I have cut it. I'm not even talking to many people. I'm just with books, read it, and I'm going in my own pace.
Yes, this is the right approach. And this is really the right approach. And this is the reason why I am telling you, you will pass it.
Well, I feel the same. I think the question is easy. You just need to focus on reading it, nothing more.
Yes, I
With
totally.
with course our experience, because across the all course we understand like most of it. Only some things that we were missing or something we need to explain again.
And
Because
this is why you have to make the review. And as I told you, gentlemen, I don't have any problem. If you mention that, please, we need to have a session for 2 hours to review some topics, I'm quite ready. If I don't have any sessions or other training courses scheduled, I'm quite ready. I think Mahmoud, he is a member of in the other course with me. Then he knows
Yes.
our schedule. Then we will have Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. Then any other day, if you want to have another 2 hours as today, we have some topics we want to discuss it. I don't have any problem. Go ahead, tell me on the WhatsApp, and I will check my schedule, and we agree about the specific date.
Thank you, sir.
That's very good. Thank you, Mr. Osama.
You are most welcome. Wish you good luck, and I hope to hear that you pass the exams soon, gentlemen.
Inshallah. You'll be
Okay,
the first one to know about it, inshallah.
inshallah. Okay, thank you very much, and I hope to see you in future courses, inshallah.
Yeah,
And
and let's be connected actually through the group. Why? Because I'll be sending questions. Mahmoud, please do. I mean to say, let's be in touch. I mean to say,
yeah,
in
for sure.
if
Yeah, I'm
we
here.
if we don't want to disturb Osama sir, so I think in fact I mean to say
No,
not I won't say disturb.
no problem. There is no disturbance. Just send request. As I told you, if I find the answer is correct, that's fine. خلاص, I will not give any comments. But if I find that this is a tricky question and I have to highlight some specific point, then I will type the answer immediately to understand the trick behind the question.
One last thing, Mr. Osama. Did you find the files that you have for the CCSP professional? What should they do? Don't I sent you a message, but I think you were busy.
ايوه صح. طيب بص, I will type it in my tasks here in my tasks. The cloud providers evaluation forms.
So,
خلاص.
so Mahmoud, are you purchasing that voucher, that exam? What is that? Some voucher is coming now before March 15th. So
No,
are you purchasing that? I'm not purchasing because I'm getting it from the from the office. So I'm not, and I'm not appearing before 31st of March. So
no, I will not also be able to take the exam before 31 March. I need to study. I need at least 1 month, in this, because